Okay, so I think we're ready to go. So, welcome to the tonight's training webinar. As you can see, the title there is "Build Your Business." A little bit of a vague title, but hopefully it'll become a bit more obvious as we go through it. My name is Chris Smith. I've been a Kleeneze distributor now for 5 years, and yeah, you're all very welcome to join and hopefully get something useful out of it. I run a series of 8 webinars, one a week normally. We had a bit of a gap between Christmas and New Year, but normally one a week. So every couple of months we go back to the beginning again. So there's always something that hopefully will be of interest to you, either just as a reminder for things that you might know anyway, or if you've got new team members and you want to introduce them to the business, you're very welcome to invite them and join with them. So the first two, as you can see there, getting started. There's a couple, 2, 3 there about the catalogue, the retail side of it. Then 4 and 5 are more about the team building side. And then the next 2 or 3 are about those kind of more, what's the word I'm looking for? The less obvious skills that actually make a bigger difference in your success. So that's what we're going to start on today. So as I've said, hopefully, apart from Sasha, who's only just joined, hopefully you know how to put some catalogues out and how to build a customer base. You also know how to find and sponsor somebody into your team, how to support them. But what other skills do you need to build your business? And that's what we're going to cover today briefly. So this covers the concept of following our system. The whole point of joining a business like Kleeneze is that you don't have to invent everything from scratch. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So just follow the tried and tested system that we talk about. There's some essential understanding that is good background knowledge that helps you kind of understand a bit about the ebb and flow of the business. And I want to introduce you to personal development. I don't know about everybody else, but when I first joined the business, I'd never even dreamed about personal development. I kind of thought that my education stopped when I was about 18, 19, 20. And kind of, not literally, but I kind of didn't really have an idea of what if somebody said to me, what personal development program are you on, I wouldn't have had a clue what they were talking about. So hopefully I'll explain a little bit about that today as well, and whet your appetite for that. And I'm going to do there's a little bit of recommended reading. So, don't reinvent the wheel. Hopefully you've all heard that. Gavin did a little talk about this at Millionaires a few weeks ago. When you're at school, you're always taught copying is cheating. Don't read other people's notes, don't copy what they're doing. You have to kind of do it all yourself. But at Kleeneze, it's the complete opposite. Copying is the route to success. And so what is this system? We talk about the system that we follow and the system that you should copy. So what is that? How do you know what to copy? And basically, you've been learning it on these webinars. Your upline has learned from their upline, who learned from their upline, and all of these people have learned, basically, assuming most of you or all of you are either in the Buzz group or in the Fast Forward group under Bob Webb, we're all basically following the system that Bob Webb, Gavin, John, all of our kind of senior guys have kind of developed over the years. And it's taken a lot of time and effort to perfect it, so we want to benefit from that, not start all over again from scratch. Kleeneze has been pretty much in its current form for 20 years. Obviously, there's been some changes to it, new technologies and so on. But the network marketing concept and the catalogue concept has that side of it has been pretty much the same for a while now. That doesn't mean you have to slavishly follow everything that everybody else has done and you're never allowed to do anything new. Adding new ideas is good. But basically, you should find someone who is successful, and hopefully that's the person who's introduced you to the business. If they're quite new in it themselves, they might introduce you to their upline. And there are people like John Hawkes, who's with us tonight, who have been in the business for a long time and got the absolute fountain of knowledge. So I always find John really easy to talk to, so I hope you won't mind me suggesting if you've got a question, you're not sure who to ask, then kind of bounce it towards John. John may well direct you towards an SED or somebody like that as well. But and also get yourself to these meetings. So things like the millionaires meetings, your local opportunity meetings. There will be lots of successful people at those meetings. Go and have a chat with them, find out what they do, and copy it. So having kind of decided that you're going to copy this system, so I'm not reinventing the wheel, there are some things that I think it's useful for you to understand and to sort of get a good foundation, if you like, to all of your learning. It's useful for you to have a good understanding of the industry. So Kleeneze itself is one of a number of network marketing businesses, or in America especially they're called multi-level marketing. And there's a couple of great resources, books and audio CDs that I would recommend you have a look at. So the first one is that one there by Don Failer. It's called The 45-Second Presentation. It's just a really simple, very short book. I'm sure it's less than 100 pages, big words, lots of pictures. Really, you can get through it in a reading, and it just gives you a fantastic basic idea of what is network marketing all about. And the other one, and this was the first one that I listened to, this was actually a CD by Jim Rohn, and it's called Building Your Network Marketing Business. And I've lost count of the number of times I listened to this. It's just such an enjoyable listen, an enjoyable, can you say that? It's an enjoyable read, and is it an enjoyable listen? I guess so. I always think of Jim as, it's almost been like a like a friendly old grandfather. Jim's passed away a couple of years ago, sadly, but absolutely I would say get yourself a copy of that CD and listen to it, and you will learn an awful lot from that. So on the Kleeneze side, so that what I was just talking about is network marketing in general. Specifically for Kleeneze, the Kleeneze Pay Plan is a large pay plan that allows you to develop from day one, where you're starting, like Sasha and Jacqueline, so just really getting started, the same as everybody else. Got no customers, no team members, a bunch of catalogues, and hopefully a bunch of enthusiasm. We all start with that, and you don't need to learn the whole pay plan and how you qualify as a Premier, SED, Gold, Zimzalabim, something or other. But it's useful to kind of have an idea of what are the next couple of steps so that you can see how you yourself can progress. Understand the 21% commission that we all start off with, and then you get to know a little bit about the volume bonuses. So, your 10% bonus, your 13% bonus. These are the ones that you will be aiming for when you first start off to get bonuses on top of your 21%. So it's useful to know how you achieve those, because as you go through a period and you're getting towards the point where your bonus is going to be calculated, you want to make sure that if you're close to hitting a bonus, that you make sure you do what you need to do to hit it, because that's an extra 50 or 100 or 200 pounds for free, effectively, on top of the 21% that you've already got. And then as you progress beyond those volume bonuses towards gold, senior, bronze executive, and so on, it's useful just to be aware of what are the next steps, so that you've got some goals, some targets to aim for, but you don't need to know the whole complicated plan. I hope that makes sense. Sorry, just lubricating the tonsils there. And then the last point I've got there is it's really important to understand that building your business really is a numbers game. And in both parts of the business, the retail side and the team building side, they're both numbers games. So basically, it's very, very simple. The more catalogues you deliver, the more customers you will find, and the more income you will earn. So, pretty much guaranteed, if you're putting out 100 catalogues a week, you will earn some money. If you're putting out 200 a week, you'll earn more. If you're putting out 200 twice a week, you'll earn even more, and so on. And it's the same when you start building your team. If you're talking to 2 or 3 friends a week, then you will get some team members join. If you're talking to 5 or 6 a week, or 10 a week, or 20 or 30 a week, then you will get more people join and your business will grow quicker. And it can seem at the beginning that you're putting in a lot of effort and not getting the reward. And so the persistence and consistency that you'll hear mentioned a lot in lots of different training, this is really where it's very important when you're sort of tracking your numbers. How many catalogues are you putting out? How many people are you talking to, and so on. And the Jim Rohn CD that I mentioned earlier really gives some great illustrations of certainly the last part of that, the team building side. So have a listen to that, and hopefully that will expand on that a little bit more for you. Okay, so we talked a bit about that. That was kind of essential understanding, basically. And I just wanted to introduce a little bit about personal development. I was at a training course a couple of years ago now, and somebody said to me, especially in network marketing, but pretty much in any business, if you only do what you know you should do, you can achieve anything. And in Kleeneze, I think it's a classic example of this. Once you've been in the business for a month or two, you know how to put a catalogue out, you know how to put an order in, hopefully you know how to present the business to somebody, how to send somebody some information about joining the business. Once you've learnt those skills, you know what you can do, what to do. That's when it often becomes a bit of a blockage, because that's when people, for whatever reason, don't do what they know they should do. So how can we get around that? That kind of procrastination, a bit of a worry. It might genuinely be there aren't enough hours, hours in the day for you to do what you want to do. But to be honest, in my experience, 99% of the reasons why people don't do as much as they should do is because there's something stopping them. It's a worry or something. So what can help us get over that? Personal development is an area where this will help. And a great way to approach your personal development is, if you bear in mind this quote from Jim Rohn, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And that basically just means, by working on yourself, you're working on your skills, your education, your experiences. And those skills and education and experiences and knowledge and attitudes and philosophies, those things will be so valuable to you for the rest of your life, and far more valuable than anything that you do on your day job, sort of 9 to 5. So as it says there, the more time and energy you invest in yourself, the more successful you'll be. So become a sponge for information. I mean, I'm kind of teaching to the converted, preaching to the converted a little bit here, because obviously you guys are all keen to learn and looking to develop yourself anyway. But think about this: if you've got team members who aren't here tonight, hopefully try to get across to them the benefits of some of this. So you need to plug into some personal development. As I said there, I think that's the most valuable skill set. And what is personal development? Well, it's kind of reading, watching some interesting stuff, listening to people. On webinar 8, so this is number 6 of the 8, webinar 8, I talk in a lot more detail about personal development, so hopefully you'll come back and listen to that as well. And I'll tell you a secret: if you can't wait for 2 weeks, the recording of last time's webinar 8 will be on the YouTube video that I'll tell you in a minute. But don't tell anyone else about that. Okay, so yeah, plugging into that just means reading some good books, watching some good video, listening to some good audios. Easy Reach Messages is a good example of what you can listen to. And just plug into all of those meetings. I'm a big believer that if you go to lots and lots of meetings, every now and again you will hear a golden nugget. And that's just something that you've probably heard 10 times already at other meetings, but somebody will say something in a particular way, in a particular context, that will just make you think, you know what, I've realised that, I've known that for ages, but I've never done anything about it. And that just triggers a change in your attitude or a change in your activities, so that you will then start to go and do those things that you know you should do, and that will then lead you to success. And it's, I can't tell you what your golden nugget is, what the thing is that's stopping you from achieving your success. But what I do know is, from personal experience and from listening and speaking to lots of other people, if you go to do all of these things, go to the meetings, read things, watch things, listen to things, the more you do that, the more golden nuggets you're going to find. I'm not going to go through this list in detail. This is, as I said, because this is recorded, you can come back to this point and pause the video if you wanted to go through this in a bit more detail. This is a list of books that, over the last sort of few years, the Fast Forward group especially are kind of recommending as, this is, if you want to start reading, start at the top and work your way through them. I'm particularly going to introduce now the ones that I've highlighted there in blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to quickly go through those because these are the ones that I found particularly useful. Now, it doesn't mean that the others are not useful, and you might get more out of the others than you do out of these, but just rather than sort of wade through 147 books trying to explain them all to you, I've just chosen my favourites. So, I've already mentioned this. Jim Rohn's Building Your Network Marketing Business. It's kind of his philosophies about network marketing. It was the first one I listened to, and I think it's possibly still my very favourite. On the same subject, Jim Rohn's written a great book. He's written a number of books, but this one I find is very easy to read, quite short. It's called 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness. And it just talks about goal setting. And not just goal setting, but goal achieving. We can all set goals. Stick a picture of Jamaica on your sort of bedside cabinet, and hey presto, 9 months down the line you get an invitation to Jamaica. Actually, that's not true. You need to take some actions and do something about it. So, goal setting and goal achievement. It talks a bit about investment, and not just financial investment, but investing your energies and time in the right things. And some of his life philosophies. I talk about life philosophies in not this, I think the next one or the one after that. Life philosophies is a very kind of vague topic. If I kind of ask people, what are your life philosophies, most people haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. They'll sort of say, oh, well, I'd like to earn some decent money and go and have a drink with my mates. But hopefully in a couple of weeks, some of the philosophies that we'll talk about are quite kind of profound in the way that they can change your approaches to whole areas of your life. I hope that's tantalized you a little bit there. Okay, a couple of other books that I found kind of similar books, but just 2 different authors. There's one called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, and the other one is called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And the gist of them both is that it's not the big decisions that make a difference in your success. It's the little decisions that you make every day. There's a little example here from one of the books I've pinched. If you're, let's say for the sake of argument, you're trying to lose weight, and every day you get up and you sort of think, oh God, you know what, I really fancy a nice cup of coffee and a croissant. And you know that really you should probably have an apple, but some days you sort of think, oh well, look, if I just have one croissant today, it won't make any difference. So you have a croissant, and you know what? The next day you wake up and you're no heavier. So hey, that's not a problem, is it? You can have a croissant, doesn't make any difference to your weight. And then you do that again, and you do that again, and you do that again, and what you find is that over a period of time, those 467 croissants that you've eaten lead to a rather tight waistline. Equally, those small disciplines that you follow daily, eating an apple, all those little vitamins and things working away, suddenly result in a healthier you, a sort of an impact on your budget, because you've got to go and buy new pairs of trousers that are a bit slimmer because you've lost weight. But the little things that you didn't notice were making any difference, as you can see, after you've done them for a while, they suddenly make a huge difference. And when you start to look at finances and the compound effect of putting out a few extra catalogues or speaking to a couple of extra people, over a period of time the differences can be huge. So that's what these 2 books are about. Uh, Happy to recommend both of those. Jeff and Darren have both spoken at Kleeneze conferences in the past. Um, really well recommended, guys. This is a good one. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie. This book was written in, I think, 1930 something or other, 1936 or something. It's quite an old book, and it's based around the time of, if you can imagine, the American kind of steel industries and large corporations. And the gist of his book, and there's lots and lots of stories and examples in there, is be nice to people. It's amazing what you get in return. And actually, that's just so true. You'd be amazed that he's got, I can't remember now, like 10 or a dozen or so principles to live your life by. And one of them is just kind of, smile. When you go out, smile at people. And you'd be amazed how you can just cheer somebody's day up and they kind of catch your eye and, oh, they smile back. And that kind of makes you feel happier and it makes them feel happier. And you just, a small kind of random act of kindness, and two people go out of that feeling a lot happier. And I mean, that's a very kind of shallow example, but I really like that book. Some people say it's a bit of a tough read. It's a little bit bigger and smaller words and not so many pictures, but definitely worth going through that one. This is another one of my favourites. Darren Hardy wrote a book called Design Your Best Year Ever. And it's basically about how to achieve your goals. And the idea is you start at the beginning of a year, but that doesn't mean 1st of January. Your year can start on the 16th of January and go through to the next 16th of January if you want to. And it basically just helps you go through a process of decide what your goals are, what you want to achieve in your best year ever. And then it just kind of breaks those down from goals into activities, and from activities into kind of monthly and weekly and daily steps. And it allows you to monitor those little steps. And by just following the system, and it's a book that you write in. It's not just like a book that you read, and then when it's finished you do something. It's, as you're reading through it, there's kind of pages for, week 1, week 2, week 3, where you write down what are the goals I want to achieve, what are the steps I need to do to achieve that goal, what are the activities that I'm going to do today to meet those steps. So if you're the sort of person that struggles a little bit to get from your getting up in the morning, having a cup of coffee, to achieving your goal of getting to Jamaica in 15 months' time, then this will be a great book for you, just to sort of break down what do I need to do on a day-to-day basis. So that's a good one. I very much like that. Happy to recommend that one. So those were the ones I was just going to introduce now. I hope that kind of makes sense. Quick question, see how many of you were awake. I mentioned earlier a quote from Jim Rohn that I like, and I said, work harder on yourself than you do on your... Can anyone remember what that was? Oh, well done, going for it. Yeah, Sasha, yeah, Jenny. Very good, very good. You're all obviously at work, yeah. It's basically just on your job. The point is, if you improve and develop yourself, those skills will last you for a lifetime. Whatever you do on the job will probably only last you till tomorrow, till the boss comes in and changes his mind about what he wants you to do. So yeah, well done everybody. You're all wide awake. Pleased to hear that. And okay, a quick question. For those of you that haven't read any of those books, were there any there? Which of those appeals to you most? And I also ask the question, for those of you who have been in the business a bit more and maybe have already read those books, do you have your own personal favourite? Which ones did you prefer when you've read them? Yep, Slight Edge, agree with that. That's a good one. Gwynnfor, good one. Think and Grow Rich. I didn't include that on my detailed ones. That's such a classic, that one, and that's very much about changing your mindset about how you think about, finances and that. Yeah, Amanda and Andrew, that's a good. I haven't mentioned GoPro at all. I've listened to that and I'm in the middle of reading it now. Yeah, Adele, agree with that. Compound Effect. Alex, I know Alex, you're with your whole team there. I haven't mentioned Michael's book in here, and I've got to admit, I haven't read it, but my wife's read it. She really, really liked it. So that's one of the ones that I have to read before I can recommend to you, even though Michael, I'm sure, would love us. Yeah, Simon, that's a good one. Skill with people. I've read that. That's a good one as well. John, that's an interesting one. I haven't come across that. Who is the author of Magic of Thinking Big? Is that Donald Trump thing? Okay, but it's fantastic to see so many suggestions on different things. I think there was a book somebody else recommended um, to me a couple of times, and it was also mentioned by somebody at one of the conferences recently, called Beach Money, which is supposed to be a really good one. Yeah, Go for No. That's a good one, Dave. And the another one which I read, which I think some people like, some people don't, but I think it depends on your situation, is the Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. That's a good one. Jill, yeah, I think is it the 12 Pillars? I can't remember now. That's another Jim Rohn one, isn't it? About his um, kind of the principles behind his life philosophies. So great. I think it sounds like you're already either reading or know what you're going to read anyway. So you're already started on your. Um, Simon, you've obviously got Google handy there, mate. Dr. David Schwartz. Excellent. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, Beryl, very good. Comes in cans, not can'ts. Okay, so that's the end of tonight's webinar, basically, the end of the bit that I'm going to record anyway. Next week we're going to talk about goals and attitude, so hopefully I've kind of whetted your appetite a little bit towards doing that. I'm going to hang around now for 10 minutes or so, so if people have got any questions or anything, happy to stay and listen to that. Bear with me, I'm just going to turn off the recording now.